The choice you make on a quiet morning, to stay seated, to decline a walk with your loved ones, or to avoid playing with your grandchildren, feels like a necessary act of self-preservation when your knees, hips, or lower back radiate a deep, sharp, punishing ache. Your natural biological instinct is to protect the site of injury by forcing it into a state of absolute rest. It feels logical. It feels safe. But beneath the surface of your skin, this survival mechanism triggers a devastating physiological paradox. By avoiding movement to escape the pain, you inadvertently initiate a rapid, systemic countdown that accelerates the biological aging of your entire body. The human frame was not designed to be preserved in stillness. It was built to be sustained through kinetic impact. And when that impact stops, the systems that keep you vibrant, resilient, and independent begin to quietly shut down. This downward spiral is the reality of the immobility paradox, a cycle that transforms a localized joint issue into a full-body breakdown. When you restrict your physical sphere out of fear of the next painful flare-up, your heart, your metabolism, and your nervous system adapt to the lack of demand. Within weeks of prolonged stillness, your muscle fibers begin to thin and lose their contractive power, diminishing the vital muscular scaffolding that stabilizes your lower limbs and unloads pressure from your skeleton. As these supporting muscles wither, the physical burden shifts directly onto your already vulnerable, unprotected joint structures. You are not protecting your body by staying still. You are actively accelerating the precise structural collapse that you are trying so desperately to avoid. Before we investigate the remarkable cellular mechanics of why stillness destroys your tissues, take a brief moment to drop a comment below and tell us where you are watching from today. And please let us know, what is the one physical activity, the one hobby, or the one routine you have had to give up because your joint pain made it too difficult to continue? You would be deeply surprised to discover how many thousands of Americans are watching this exact episode right now, sitting in the exact same position of forced rest, mourning the loss of their physical freedom in absolute silence. The ultimate tragedy of this cycle is how the mainstream medical establishment responds to it. When an individual loses their mobility due to chronic joint pain, they are rarely given a roadmap to safely restore their movement from a cellular level. Instead, they are ushered into a corporate medical protocol dominated by high-dose anti-inflammatory prescriptions, synthetic pain blockers, and temporary cortisone injections. But here is the dark truth that the pharmaceutical industry will never openly admit. They derive immense, predictable profit from your physical stagnation. Over-the-counter pills and localized steroid shots do absolutely nothing to repair the structural decay. They merely deaden the neurological warning signs in your brain. They give you a brief, artificial window of numbness, while the deeper structural fire continues to burn completely unchecked. Because a permanently healed, actively moving individual does not require a lifetime subscription to expensive chemical management. The global chronic pain industry generates over $327 billion every single year, meaning your complete return to independent, unmedicated physical freedom is a direct threat to their long-term corporate profits. To understand why stopping movement is so uniquely destructive to an aging body, we must examine a profound cellular phenomenon known as mechanotransduction. Unlike your skin, your muscles, or your vital organs, human joint cartilage possesses absolutely no internal blood vessels. It cannot simply pull oxygen and vital repair nutrients directly from the bloodstream to heal itself. Instead, cartilage relies entirely on a mechanical pumping action to survive. When you walk, bend, and move, The alternating compression and release of your body weight acts exactly like a biological sponge, forcefully squeezing stale metabolic waste products out of the cartilage matrix and pulling fresh, nutrient-rich synovial fluid back in. When you stop moving because of pain, this vital biological pump completely freezes. The chondrocytes, your internal cartilage-building cells, are instantly starved of oxygen and vital nutrients, leaving them unable to maintain the protective collagen barrier. The stagnant fluid inside the joint capsule becomes increasingly acidic, and the cartilage literally begins to starve to death from a total lack of kinetic stimulation. As this internal starvation deepens, it triggers an immediate cascade of muscular atrophy by disuse. The nervous system, sensing that the joint is unstable and starved of nutrients, intentionally down-regulates the neural drive to the surrounding muscles to prevent further movement. This structural imbalance alters your biomechanics, forcing your remaining healthy joints to work twice as hard to compensate for the frozen area. Your hips begin to wear out because your knees are too stiff to bend. Your lower back undergoes severe disc compression because your pelvis can no longer rotate smoothly. The science is completely undeniable. Stillness does not heal a damaged joint capsule. It solidifies the decay, turning a temporary structural vulnerability into a permanent state of physical confinement. The breakthrough in modern longevity medicine occurred when researchers realized that you cannot simply tell someone in severe pain to start moving again without first correcting the underlying biochemical environment. To break the terrifying cycle of immobility, we must first intervene at the molecular level before the physical movement can safely resume. We must forcefully lower the inflammatory threshold within the joint capsule to make movement comfortable again, while simultaneously resupplying the chondrocytes with the highly concentrated bioavailable building blocks required to restore the thickness and quality of the synovial fluid. When you change the biochemistry within the joint capsule first, you turn the biological pump back on, allowing the body to heal itself naturally through the regular mechanics of daily life. The latest peer-reviewed clinical data points to a highly specific, scientifically validated synergy of natural compounds that can achieve this exact molecular turnaround. It begins with specialized turmeric extract, optimized to achieve up to 10 times the cellular bioavailability of standard formulations, allowing its active curcuminoids to cross directly into the starved joint capsule and suppress the inflammatory enzymes that lock the joint in a state of painful immobility. When you fuse this high-potency botanical with glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate, you instantly flood the extracellular matrix with the precise structural precursors needed to rebuild the cushioning cartilage layers and restore vital fluid retention, to fully unlock the joint's capacity for free movement. Clinical studies show the immense value of Boswellia serrata extract to block secondary tissue-destroying pathways, while quercetin and bromelain work in perfect harmony to clear out accumulated cellular debris and reduce deep systemic fluid retention that causes morning stiffness. Sourcing each of these rare, clinically precise ingredients individually in their exact therapeutic dosages and highly bioavailable forms is virtually impossible for the average consumer. This precise, scientifically proven molecular synergy has been meticulously brought together into a single, premium formula created specifically for mature individuals who are trapped in the vicious cycle of pain-induced immobility. It is a completely natural cellular approach designed to quench the internal inflammation and nourish the joint environment from the inside out, giving your body the comfort and the structural foundation it needs to finally get back on its feet and move without fear. If you want to explore this profound cellular science further and see how you can safely restart your body's natural movement pump, we have pinned a link in the very first comment below. It will take you directly to the exact, trusted formula we have been referencing throughout this episode. Take a look, examine the science for yourself, and discover how you can finally break free from the prison of stillness.